Hello, golf fanatics. Billy Ho here, and preview and research show. So we're going to go ahead and put the Canadian Open behind us. I got two takeaways. I feel like the course played a lot harder than players expected, especially on the putting greens, and players flat didn't show up. We saw they know who they are. I'm not going to dwell on it. Most everybody was really not doing very well as far as I saw on X, so to speak. So we'll just throw that out. It's a toss, just like a horse race where the horse don't show up. We're back at a signature event. This week is going to be finally the Memorial, a week and a half after the Memorial Day. And my guy, Big Daddy Gator, shout out in the Discord. He brought it up, and I've said it for a few years now since I've been doing content. But the thing I'll add in there is, why do they not do a Friday through Monday tournament that ends on Memorial Day? There's not any really sports or anything mad happening on that Monday. It would be a great way to end the golf tournament on that holiday, highlight it. So anyway, I just thought that was worth bringing up really quick. So what we're going to do in the preview show is, as always, we're going to dive into the golf course. It's Muirfield Village in Dublin, Ohio. That is Jack Nicklaus's little slice of heaven. And we'll get into that design and see what kind of players we need to navigate the course for 4 days to be successful. And then we will jump in to look at some stat models powered by Fantasy National Golf. And so make sure you hit that subscribe button for me. Smash that like button. Join my DraftKings contest when it comes out on Monday. It's been quite exciting, to say the least. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. Okay, the Memorial. It's a signature event. It's going to be a 72-man field with a token cut of top 50 and ties. The weather is going to be dicey this week. Scattered storms and rain pretty much blanketing the entire week. Could cause delays. So I don't know quite what's going to happen. It does look like there's going to be a little bit of wind involved in that, and depending on how the storms are, it could be quite gusty. So keep an eye on that radar for sure. Now, Muirfield Village, par 72, 7,533 yards of golf, made up of undulating bent grass fairways, 5,000 square feet of pure bent grass greens, the beautiful venue with the creek that runs throughout the course. The front nine is pretty standard. Jack obviously designed this with a little bit of homage to his Augusta, and you can really see that on the flyover. When you get around to the back nine, it begins with that difficult par 4, number 10. Then you go to a scoreable par 5, which is number 11, that crosses over the creek, and the continued homage to the Amen corner with the par 3 12th that plays slightly longer than still the similar sideways kidney green to Augusta. So you can see all those similarities there. The next few holes, you have a chance to make a few birdies there. Number 14, you lay up because it's just 277 yards to the creek, but still a short wedge in. 15 is an easy par 5. And as long as you don't lose your drive to the left, but then that's where the fun ends. 16, 17, and 18 are the three most difficult holes on the golf course. So it's going to be a grind. I don't know if the course is playing softer. Last year was really, really tough conditions. Under 10, I believe Victor Hovland won at 7 under par. I don't know that we'll get that this year, but the harder, the better. As far as I'm concerned, I seem to do better. I don't piss and moan about difficult courses and things of that nature, because I did my best week was to Charles Schwab. I love those Sundays when I had less holes remaining than the rest of the guys, but I got off the golf course, and then they were just left out there with their guys floating in the wind in difficult afternoon conditions and just moving on down those points lists. So anyway, Getting into some stats, the course is designed to demand a complete tee to green game. Both distance and accuracy off the tee is needed. You have 7 par fours from 450 to 500 yards. So you're going to be hitting you're going to be hitting your entire bag basically, but a lot of longer irons will be required, especially on a soft golf course, because you won't get as much run out. Green and regulation percentage is going to be up. The ability to scramble, to get up and down, avoiding big numbers is the key. So if there is a soft golf course like it looks like it will be, proximity numbers from these ranges are going to be bigger. Opportunities gained is obviously going to be huge. And with this course being played, I think at this venue since 1976, you're going to have some pretty sticky course history, exactly like you would at Augusta. So let's go ahead and dive into Fantasy National and look at some players and models and stats. So briefly looking at the course breakdown once again, you can see how it's pretty similar to Augusta, and the par fives are going to be very gettable. It's going to have some nice gettable par fours, like you got the hole number 3 here. Then you got this is hole number 7, very gettable par 5. Those are the front 9, but you can see that a lot of 18%, 17. These are decent opportunities to make birdies. Then here's your back 9. This is where it starts to fall off after you get to the hole 15, which is an easy par 5 birdie hole. Then you get to these 3 tough holes here coming home, 503 yard par 4, 480 yard par 4. Those are extremely difficult courses. So down here, you look at some more. I'm going to just run through this again. This is for top 10 finishers. I figured I'd narrow it down since we got such a small field. I want to see what the top 10 guys do, because this is where you're looking to pick your most players, is get these guys in the top 10. So obviously strokes gained approach, but you can see how insignificant off the tee is compared for top 10 finishers. Around the green is more important. Putting is more important. Ball striking is always important. 3-putt avoidance, top 5s in there as well. Strokes gained par 5, obviously way up there. Sand saves, there's 86 bunkers, I do believe, on this golf course. So you're going to be needing to get up and out of those bunkers. Avoid the ones in the fairway. Obviously, they're going to be strategically placed. There has been some renovations done over the years, and some bunkers have been moved around to where you can easily find them off the tee if you try to get too greedy. And fairways gained by finishing position. You can see the obviously hitting fairways is pretty important all the time. Here's your approach shot distribution. Once again, you can see it's pretty average wedges. Then you got a little bit of increase on the 150 to 200 range, but not so much on the 200 plus. A lot less 200 plus shots because of the par 5s. Probably you're either laying up or you're going to be, going for it, one or the other. So anyway, I just wanted to run through this real quick. Here's your green percentage. You can see it's down almost to 60%. Accuracy is a bit up. The fairways are pretty generous, actually. I didn't really mention that earlier, but they are pretty generous fairways, just like Augusta, obviously. A little bit more trouble to get into, but your average driving distance, you don't need a whole lot to get out there. So it's down just a skosh, be honest with you. I always like to look at the distance of birdie or better putts, but you can see they're just pretty field average all the way around. But most of your putts are going to be made from really from 0 to 10 feet. So you really need to knock it close. So that's where proximity comes into place. Opportunities gained is obviously in 15 feet in that range. Here's your tournament history. And obviously, this course is Patrick Cantlay's jam. He's won this thing twice in the last 6 or 7 years. But you got to figure Scottie, he didn't play in 2022. but he's got back-to-back third places. And the way he's played this year, he's now past that bullshit that happened in my hometown and is well rested up. He took last week off. You got to figure he's going to be the just very difficult to beat under these conditions. Xander Scheffler obviously plays pretty well here. He's riding high off his recent win, so he's going to be very much in the mix. But we pretty much know about these top players priority wise. Rory is playing. Rory not at his best at the Canadian Open last couple of days, but once we get down here, Billy Ho won this, and he's playing a lot better. Colin Morikawa has been in the mix. He won the workday when it was made easier back in the COVID era. But guys like if you get over here to my model, I think this is the one I pulled up from back in 2022. And I organized it by DK points and narrowed it down to the last month because surprise, surprise, DraftKings, you got to score DraftKings points. And in a field this small, you just really don't need to worry about the cut, because if you pick a guy that misses the cut, top 50 in ties, and he's one of the 20 worst players, then you're screwed anyway. So I organized it by DK points, and you can see the guys up here. Is it finally the week for Benny On? That's a good question. He's been playing so good. You can see he's third in DK points. Green's gain. He's just really awesome across the board here. Around the green, he's really actually very good around the green. So it's a hair bit surprising that he's had a bit of struggle. But I mean, if he puts it all together this week, he could be really, really up there. He's going to be very popular. I'm not the only one pointing this out this week. Keegan Bradley's another one that's interesting. The guy that I find very, very interesting is Justin Thomas. We all know his struggles with the flat stick. You can see he's 63rd in putting from 5 to 10 feet. 10 to 15 feet, he's 59th. Don't worry about that proximity number. We're not even hitting as many of those. 38th in par fives, largely due to his poor putting. But number one around the green, 18th approach, 12th off the tee. He's striping it off the tee pretty good here recently. He was absolutely fantastic at Valhalla, which is kind of similar to this golf course. There's a lot of similarities going on here, but he did lose his, typical 4 strokes or however many strokes he lost putting. But he was very good in all other aspects of the game. So he's a guy that I'll be looking for. But a guy like Tom Hoge, what everybody thought, he's such a great ball striker. He's one that could be interesting, but he proved how poorly he putts on bent grass. That's his worst surface because he lost nearly 4 strokes to the field. But on the contrary, a guy like Tony Finau excels on bent grass. He's actually been just getting shooting himself in the foot left and right, not being able to make birdies. But he actually has been closer to field average since we've been on this bent grass putting streak over the last 3 or 4 events. So he's a guy that I'll have some interest in as well. So getting down here a little more, Denny McCarthy made a run last year. These are just model rankings. This is a different, what I was looking for this is a rolling model and putting. I like to do this as well and then organize it. And then we'll say time frame. Let's do the last 2 months and just to see if that changes anything in our model ranking. It probably shouldn't because this is pretty, last 4, last 8, last 12, blah, blah, blah. But obviously Denny McCarthy is the number one. But Harris English is an interesting one, even though he dipped. He was really rolling the rock over. Look how far back it goes. But he just had this is a bounce back putting week for Harris English. I think he's a great course fit here. So I'll be digging into some Harris English. What I want to really be looking for when we get down to the nitty gritty is, the top guys that you want to play, but I'm going to be looking for guys in this range that are scoring DraftKings points. because you're going to have to dip down in that. I'm doubling up top. That is just the way it goes. So I'll be sifting through here looking for guys that would be quite interesting, like Mark Messier, things of that nature. There's a lot of good guys out here. Your JT Postons. A lot of people forget about Cam Davis. Could sometimes I like to play him on bent grass greens. Willie Z, we haven't seen in a minute. Matty Fitz has been struggling. You can see these guys are sort of toward the bottom of the rankings list. So can any of these guys find any kind of form to get after it? Who knows? But we're going to go ahead and cut it off there. I just wanted to give you guys a first look, and you can see behind me if you're watching on YouTube. This is a first look at my top 10 list. I'm going to be looking very much to stay on brand once pricing comes out. Billy Ho, JT, things of that nature. I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb. I have a good feeling about Justin Thomas this week. I think he gets it done. I don't really try to predict winners, but I just feel like he's trending. He just lost. He doesn't lose like 3 to 5 strokes putting back-to-back weeks very often. So if he can just get close to even with the putting, his ball striking, the way he's playing right now, he should be able to be at least a good top 5, top 10 bet. Contest will be out Monday. Make sure you join up there. Check out my horse racing content. Belmont Stakes is next Saturday. Huge card over at Saratoga. So I know gamblers play the ponies. So best of luck this weekend. Until next time, we'll see you soon.